Hey yogis, I'm Nicole. Welcome back to My Yoga Time. Thanks for joining me today. I have a slightly different class for you today. We will be focusing on the stomach and the spleen meridians within the body. We're going to work with a couple of acupressure points as well, coupled with our yoga postures and mindful breathing. So the stomach and the spleen meridian relate to the emotions of anxiety, worry, and overthinking versus faith, contentment, and equanimity. So the stomach is the primary digestive organ receiving food and commencing that process of distribution and assimilation. The usable nutrients are sent to the spleen and the unusable ones move on to the small intestine. So the stomach chi nourishes our energy on all levels, physical, mental, and also our spiritual growth. So in line with Ayurveda, which is the sisterhood to yoga, it's the oldest natural medical system in the world coming from India, along with Chinese medicine, state that everything the body takes in, so not just food, but also thoughts and emotion, everything we take in, we must assimilate and process. So the spleen is also one of the primary digestive organs and is considered the source of life for all other organs. When in balance, our cycles are harmonious, such as sleep, digestion, bodily rhythms, and clear thinking. The spleen raises the chi or the prana within the body up towards the head for clear thinking. So the spleen becomes disrupted when we are stressed, overthinking, and another symptom is brain fog, of course. In Chinese medicine, there are approximately 400 acupuncture or acupressure points within the body, each addressing a different ailment. There are 21 acupressure points for the spleen and 45 points for the stomach. So for a beautiful digestive wellness treatment, we're going to combine spleen number 3, stomach 36, and spleen 9. So spleen 3 is located on the inside of the foot, below the ball of the big foot. There is a very slight depression or hollow where the color of the skin turns from the white to the darker color or to the pink color. So with our acupressure points, they're often quite tender. So when you fall into that little divot, that little hollow, if it's feeling tender, that's a good sign you're on the right spot. How much pressure you apply is up to you. The more tender the spot is a sign that there is more of an imbalance or a deficiency there. So you might like to just apply direct pressure or even make a gentle circular motion. So this point harmonizes and regulates the stomach and spleen and also resolves dampness in the body. Feel free to take longer on this foot if you prefer. I'm going to move to the other one. Please excuse my ugly taping. So feel free to move on or stay longer if you like, and you can always pause the class if you do need more time. So this point is one of the major tonifying points in the body and is often used in acupuncture as it's in charge of that absorption and distribution. So moving on to stomach 36, which is located on the lower leg on the outside. So coming up to the knee and just at the bottom of the kneecap, measuring about 4 fingers down, and then from the middle of that shin bone, just move about 1 finger across to the outside. I've quite quickly found that sensitive spot. So again, if it's not feeling sensitive or you can't find that little hollow, that little depression, just move around until you can. I'm taking circular motions today, but again, you might just choose to hold it still. So this spot is said to treat most digestive concerns. including nausea, vomiting, reflux, stomach cramps, bloating, flatulence, low appetite and poor digestion in general. I'm going to change sides. You might find that you're a little more tender on one side than the other. Feel free to pause here or move along with me. So spleen 9 is also on the lower leg, but on the inside below the knee. So the easiest way to find this point is actually from the ankle. So if you run your finger from the ankle up your shin bone, just on the inside, keep moving up until you meet a resistance you can't go any further, and there you should find that hollow, that depression. Find your comfortable pressure. So this one's a very powerful point, and in acupuncture it's said to resolve dampness in the body. So when the spleen and the stomach channels are working together, digestion runs smoothly. The water and the nutrients are well absorbed. And the body then metabolizes the food intake well, with ease. So when these two are not working in harmony, then that dampness occurs within the body. So it's that excess water within the system. It doesn't move well, and we can experience things like fluid retention, bloating, swelling, gas, diarrhea, or constipation, brain fog, fatigue, heaviness in the body, feeling sluggish, and even UTIs and yeast infections can be symptomatic. So I'm going to change sides. Of course, stay longer if you need to. So you can always practice these points just on their own, but together they work as a wonderful combination, and you can do this every day. Alrighty, let's begin with our practice. So I've got 2 yoga blocks for this practice. If you don't have blocks, you can improvise with a really thick book as well. We're going to start on our back using our props straight away. Coming into supported bridge pose. So lifting up those hips, placing the block underneath the bottom. You might choose to go to the flat side. If you're quite supple, you might like to go to the second height. Keep the knees bent to begin with. Let's gently place the very tip of your tongue where the teeth meet the roof of the mouth, keeping the jaw relaxed, finding a gentle tone in the back of your throat. Moving mindfully with the breath now as you inhale, lifting the arms above the head. And exhale to flow them back down. See if you can slow the breath and the movement. Next time you lift the arms overhead, we'll take a hold of the opposite elbows with the hands. Unless, of course, there's discomfort in your shoulders, then bring those arms back down by your side. Gently deepening the breath here. Feeling the navel rise on the inhalation. A moment to pause. And then exhale, navel falling towards the spine. So this posture stimulates both the stomach and the spleen meridians, but it's also a lovely pose to relieve tension in the back. It stretches and massages the digestive organs, in particular the colon. Let's take one more inhalation, release the elbows, reach the arms. And as you exhale, lower the hands down, take a hold of your left knee. Move your right foot a little further to the left and then let that right knee fall out to the side. If this is causing any discomfort in your back or your hips, bring the sole of the foot back to the floor. We're just going to be here for 3 breaths. Remember to pause before you exhale. After your 3rd breath, you can bring that knee back to center. And if it feels okay for your back, just straighten and relax that leg just for a few more breaths. So again, the main emotion associated with the stomach and the spleen is that of anxiety and worry and overthinking. The best way to influence the way that we're feeling is to change the way that we're breathing. That simple little pause before you exhale is a very effective and quick way to hack the nervous system and help you to move into that rest, digest mode. Let's change sides. Take a hold of your right knee, taking left knee out to the side if that feels okay for your hips. And another good thing to remember as well in terms of overthinking, that witnessing your breath is a very valuable tool to help turn the volume down on your mind chatter. Each time the mind wanders off, just come back to your breath, moving the body. Let's straighten and relax the left leg now. And bending your left knee, releasing the right. Gently press into the balls of the feet, lift up the hips, remove your block. Then lift up the heels and lower down 1 vertebrae at a time. Touching down to the mat, taking the hands to the knees. A little bit of resistance here, arms are straight. Pull the knees back into the hands, press the hands into the knees. And relax the shins, bend the elbows as you exhale. Inhale to straighten the arms. This one is also known as the wind relieving pose, which can be quite soothing on the tummy. Take a little longer there if you need to. Otherwise, stacking knees above the hips, imprinting the lower back, engaging your core as you lift the upper body off the mat. Here is option 1. Option 2, begin to alternate the legs. Next time you bring the left knee in, take a hold, and then we'll move into a twist using your prop once again underneath the knee for support. So you might need to go to the higher side or maybe the lower side, as long as your left shoulder is not lifting up too high. We're going to hold here for 3 breaths and then we'll progress a little further. Relaxing the outer hip. Deepening the breath in the lower body. From here, you have the option to roll a little more onto your right side, prop up your head. We're going to take a hold of the right leg. So move that leg back and then reach for the foot. If you can't reach the foot, you can always use a strap. To deepen the pose, bring the head down to the bicep, or you can allow that left shoulder to come back so that your collarbones are still facing the ceiling. So here, experiencing a back bend with a twist. Inhale. As you exhale, release the foot, return to your back. Moving your block over, take a hold of your right knee. Let's change sides straight away. Pause before you exhale. Again, feel free to roll onto your left side, prop up the head. Otherwise, stay as you are. Simply bend that left leg, take a hold of your foot. Inhale. And exhale to release. Let's come onto our back once again. Soles of the feet now up towards the ceiling. Option 1, just rest the hands on the outer legs. Option 2, if you can reach your big toes, you can pistol grip those big toes. As we inhale, legs out nice and wide. And as we exhale, bring them back together. One more. Bending the knees now. Option 1, holding onto the knees and take the legs a little wider. So you're trying to guide your knees towards your armpits. Option 2, happy baby pose, if that's available for you. You can either pistol grip the big toes or reach for the outer edges of the feet. Arms are on the insides of the legs. And try to keep your bottom on the mat if you can. You might feel just a little bit of resistance between the feet and the hands. And if you have the urge to take a little rock from side to side, feel free to do so. Well done, yogis. Let's cross at the ankles now. We're going to rock and roll our way up to seated. If that's not an option for you, just roll to your side and push yourself up. And once you've come all the way up, moving over onto all fours. Take my mic with me. And coming down, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Moving through a few cat-cow stretches to continue to warm the spine. Now, option 1, you can continue with this motion. If you've no concerns with your knees or your ankles, sit back onto those feet, back onto the palms, and lift up the knees. Lifting the heart, drawing the elbows towards one another. Well done. Return to tabletop. This time we'll curl the toes under. Inhale into your back bend. Exhale to round the spine and then lift up into your downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up. Look forward and step it through to the outside of your left hand. So you're coming into your lizard pose. Right knee can come down to the mat. Now, if you're quite tight in your hips, take a hold of your blocks and you can always take them up to the highest height, maybe the second or even the lowest height. If you don't need the blocks, then hands just to the floor. If you're staying here, gently press down through the big toe knuckle. Feel as though you're drawing the hands back and reaching the heart forward. Otherwise, option 2, only if it's comfortable for your hips. Lift up the ball of the foot, externally rotate the toes, the knee and the hip out to the side. And you can take the left hand to the thigh or maybe even reach for that right foot behind you. Breathe. Your next exhalation, release that right foot down. I've just turned around so that you can see me a little better. We're going to walk the hands towards the right foot now, bend the right knee and straighten the left leg. And then changing sides. And next time you come towards the right foot, move into your lizard pose, left knee to the mat. Again, take your blocks if you need to. Either staying there with the big toe knuckle pressing down, hands drawing back, or externally rotate knee, hips and toes. Either resting there or gentle twist, hand to the thigh, or reach for your foot. Inhale. And exhale, release. Take your right hand down now to the outside of the right foot. You're going to step it back into your downward facing dog. Inhale forward into plank, shoulders over the wrists, upper back is rounding. As always, you can pop your knees on the mat or a little bit stronger if you come down. Make sure those elbows are brushing the ribs. Let's find our sphinx pose into those forearms now. So do keep a little action here in the arms. Feel like you're drawing the elbows back towards your ribs. And you should feel the muscles along the spine engage a little more. Well done, yogis. Lower down, hands under the shoulders. Let's push up to hands and knees. Take the knees as wide as the mat, big toes touching, rounding out the back as you sink back for your child's pose. So you can make a pillow with the hands if you need to. Otherwise, forehead resting on the mat. You can just rest the arms straight, or I'd like to bend the elbows and bring the hands to prayer. Breathing down into the hips and thighs, the lower back. And on your next inhalation, let's lift on up. So we're going to recline once again using our props. Quite a few options with this next pose. I'm going to take the blocks to the highest height. High one underneath the head. Second one is underneath the shoulders, and the top of the block will meet at my shoulder blades. If you want to go lower, by all means, you can go flat and maybe to the second height. So if you've concerns with your knees, I'll encourage you to come down into a reclined butterfly pose. So meeting the blocks and then allowing the soles of the feet to come together as the knees fall out wide. Otherwise, I'll encourage you to come into half butterfly, half hero. So we'll start with the right leg, bringing the top of the foot next to the hip. Now, if you can only sit like this with your foot out to the side, I'll ask that you skip it and practice your reclined butterfly pose. Turning the foot out to the side can have a negative effect on the knee joint, which is a very vulnerable joint. So in this position, keep the left knee bent, sole of the foot on the floor, and as you start to recline, lift up your bottom and try and tuck your tailbone under a little. Then looking for your blocks. You might choose to stay here. Otherwise, heel toe the left foot over towards the right thigh. Allow the knee to fall out to the side. So left leg is in butterfly, right leg is in hero. If you feel that you can go deeper, you can always lower the block under the head to match the one under the shoulders. Or when the mind wanders, come back to the breath, moving the body. So if you're in your butterfly pose, you can either stay here a little longer, or if you need to release, you can bring the knees together, have the feet as wide as the mat, knees touching, or you can straighten and relax the legs. If you're in half hero, half butterfly, we're going to change sides. So point the left knee to the ceiling, sole of the foot to the floor. Hands by your side, tuck in your chin as you press yourself up. Release that right leg and bring the left leg around. As you recline, tucking the tailbone under, looking for a little more space in your lower back. And then when you're ready, move the right foot a little further to the left, and then allow that knee to fall out to the side. And let's all release the pose now, palms turning down, right knee to the ceiling or both knees to the ceiling if you were in butterfly. Coming all the way up, release that left leg if it's in hero. Let's take the blocks to the side and recline once again. Feel free to hug the knees into the chest. Let's inhale and straighten the legs. Exhaling here, hands either to the outer shins or big toes once again. Inhaling out nice and wide. Exhale together. Last one. This time as you exhale together, see if you can cross the right leg over the left leg, bend the knees, squeeze the thighs together, a little bit of core, upper body can lift up off the mat. Lower down when you're ready. If you're able to, draw the knees in towards the chest, or maybe you can reach for the ankles or the feet. If this is too strong, take a reclined pigeon instead. Take the left ankle to the right knee. So you could be there, or maybe you're here today, depending on any ailments in your hips or your knees. And let's release that. Keeping the legs crossed, we're moving into a twist. Once again, knees over to your right. Block underneath for support. So here in one of our final twists, I'm going to encourage you to practice Vishamaritti, which is your uneven breath. We're going to have a longer exhalation. So the longer exhalation not only soothes the nervous system even more, which is fantastic if you're feeling anxious or you're worried, but it also gives us more time to expel the toxins in the body. So all yoga is about 90% waste removal. We do that through improving our digestion, through sweating, and through purging through the breath, through your exhalation. So research has shown that when we lose weight, we actually metabolize that weight loss through the breath. So here I'm going to count your breaths. We'll inhale 4, hold 2, exhale 6, hold 2. But if you're straining to breathe, then just ignore my count and see if you can find your own longer exhalation. So when you're ready, let's breathe out together. And inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, holding, 1, 2, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, holding, 1, 2, inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, holding, 1, 2, Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, holding 1, 2. Let's inhale those legs back to center, squaring the body in the center of the mat. Once again, lifting up those feet, either hands to the legs or pistol grip big toes. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhale, exhaling right over the left, knees are bending, thighs are squeezing, core is engaging. And lower down. If you can, draw the knees in, maybe the feet, or take that reclined pigeon if you need to. And let's move into our twist, releasing the feet. Hips move a little to the right, knees come down to the left, resting on your block. Relaxing the outer hip, the buttocks. Letting go of any muscles that are holding on. Let's breathe out together. And inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding 1, 2. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Holding 1, 2. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding 1, 2. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Holding 1, 2. Let's inhale those knees back to center. Uncrossing the legs, and we'll move into Shavasana now, laying flat on the floor. I like to place one block under each thigh, but it's a personal choice. You might prefer to just lay flat. Take a moment to tuck the shoulders under. Let the heart expand. Softening the forehead. Allowing the eyes to roll back. Tongue and jaw relaxed. Let's inhale a little deeper now. As you gently bring your awareness back. And just acknowledging any newfound space in the body. Clarity in the mind. In your own time, feel free to wiggle toes and fingers, following any urges to move or stretch. And of course, roll to your preferred side when you're ready. Or making your way up to seated. Thanks for practicing with me today, yogis. I hope that you are feeling a little more spacious in the body and a little more clear thinking. Feel free to return to those acupressure points that we did at the beginning of the class. Hopefully you find them a little less tender. And again, you can practice them every day if you need to. If you have any class requests, feel free to make a note in the comments below. And please do subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the class. It's the best way to support free yoga on YouTube. Have a lovely day.